This is Valley News Live at noon.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here. Wow, what a difference 1 week can make after several days of frigid temperatures and big winter snowstorms. This week we're heading for 30 degrees, and let's send things right on over to Summer Schnellbach for a closer look as to those details. Hi Summer.
Hey Ashlyn, and thank you everyone for joining us today at noon. I finally love being the bearer of good news instead of, hey, we have a big snowstorm headed our way, or hey, we're going to be 30 degrees below zero. Finally, some good news to talk about. Temperatures warming across the region, 20 degrees widespread and better for the first time since December 16th, so about 2 weeks ago. Wintry mix is expected later today out in western North Dakota, and that chance increases across the northern valley later tonight. Right now, look at these temperatures, teens and 20s, 30 degrees in Devil's Lake with some sunny skies, 19 right now in Detroit Lakes, 15 Grand Forks, 16 in Bemidji and in Fargo. We're at 23 degrees in Jamestown. Satellite and radar showing mostly cloudy skies. Morning snow that we saw in northwestern Minnesota is gone, but out west into Montana, here comes our next little system that'll bring us that wintry mix later on. Here in Fargo, I expect us to stay dry today, but fairly cloudy. Temperatures continuing to warm into those mid-20s, and the breeze, Ashlyn, decreasing through the rest of the day after a windy morning, but that really helps to get that warm-up kick-started. Coming up, I'll show you your hour-by-hour forecast, when to expect some of that mix to move in.
All right, we're looking forward to that. We'll take anything we can get at this point.
Yes.
Thanks, Summer. Thank you, Summer. 12:02 is our time now. A Montana woman dead after a head-on crash near Williston. The North Dakota Highway Patrol says the woman lost control of her pickup on an icy curve. It was on Highway 85 last night and hit another pickup coming in the opposite direction. She was thrown from the vehicle and killed, but the other driver was not hurt. The victim was a 51-year-old woman from Sidney, Montana. Family members now identifying the victim in last weekend's deadly shooting at the Mall of America in Bloomington, Minnesota as 19-year-old Jonte Hudson of St. Paul. He was shot and killed inside the mall on Friday. Police say he was part of an argument between two groups just before shots were fired. Hudson's family says it was a group of friends he was working to avoid. A GoFundMe has now been set up for his family to help with funeral expenses. There's a link at valleynewslive.com. After a 16-day, 330-mile journey on horseback, the Dakota 38+2 Memorial Ride has now completed its journey from South Dakota to Mankato, Minnesota. The riders are honoring those who died 160 years ago. It was the largest single-day mass execution in U.S. history. On December 26, 1862, 38 Dakota men and 2 others were publicly executed in Mankato during the U.S.-Dakota War. The war started when food and supplies guaranteed under treaty with the Dakota people were withheld, all in an effort to force the Dakota off of their own land. Hundreds died in the war that lasted a little over a month. The woman who brought a wild raccoon into a Maddock, North Dakota bar earlier this year has now been sentenced to probation. 38-year-old Erin Christensen pleaded guilty to misdemeanor charges of unlawful possession of a live fur bearer, meaning the raccoon, tampering with evidence and providing false information to law enforcement. Christensen says her family found the raccoon on the side of the road and they were nursing it back to health. A bartender said the raccoon did not get loose and did not bite anyone, but state health officials still issued a warning about potential rabies exposure. Authorities euthanized the animal and it tested negative for rabies. Day 12 of 17 sleeping outside. That's what one local Air Force veteran is now enduring, and it's all for the people of Ukraine. Mark Lindquist is on his way of completing Operation Sleep Out, which is where he sleeps outside in a tent, all to raise awareness for the people braving the winter temperatures in Ukraine without power. He says he has been seeing many people donate, but he still needs to hit a mark in order to ship it to the people who need it most.
Well, one of the exciting things about Operation Sleep Out is during this project we have discovered 100,000 winter coats sitting in a warehouse in Fargo. The person that was doing that usually ships to Africa. The people there don't need winter coats, so he's got 100,000 of them that he's going to put in my hands. We just need to raise about $20,000 to ship those over.
Lindquist plans to return to Ukraine on January 2nd. You can find more information on how to help on our website on valleynewslive.com. One pilot lucky to be alive after a small plane crashed into icy water in Maryland. Emergency crews say the plane crashed into the frigid creek after it went off the runway at Lee Airport. Two kayakers were able to reach the crash quickly and pull the pilot out of that frozen water, which is likely what saved his life. Many migrants are now camped out in near freezing temperatures on the streets of El Paso, Texas, as they wait for the Supreme Court to rule on Title 42, which could happen today. They are sleeping under blankets on the sidewalks there. A few had some tents, and some took refuge in a nearby city bus for warmth. Title 42 is the Trump-era policy that allows some asylum seekers to be turned away at the border. The Supreme Court says the decision could come today on whether it will remain in place. If it's lifted, a surge of migrants is expected. You can join a competition to help save lives and support first responders. Starting today, it's the 4th annual Battle of the Badges Blood Drive competition. It's between West Fargo Fire and the police department. The drive runs through the 29th. You can donate between noon and 6 p.m. each day at the DoubleTree by Hilton on Beaton Drive. And you get to pick which department your donation goes toward. Last year, West Fargo Fire took home the trophy for the very first time. North Dakota Parks and Recreation says the snowpack brought on by the recent winter storms has made for great snowmobiling conditions across the state, now allowing the 13 state snowmobile trails to open. The trails will be open through April, or as long as they have at least 4 inches of packed snow on them. Officials say to help improve the experience and safety, snowmobilers can download an interactive trail map or an app that tracks trips, current location, and gives updates on conditions. For more information, you can check out this story on our website or on our VNL News app. Coming up here at noon, the massive winter storm has claimed at least 55 lives and is still causing flight cancellations and delays for holiday travel. But up next, weather to plan out your day as we look forward to this warm-up. We're quietly and slowly making our way up on the temperature. We'll be right back.